All right, ladies. Judy Weber here with Livy Girl Radio, and I am so blessed to be here with Neva Williamson. And Neva is a beautiful lady who does a lot of things, and you're going to hear that. I'm amazed at how she juggles it all. I have three kids. I have three stepsons, but they're older. So without further ado, I want to say hey to Neva. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. I was like excited to, that you even invited me because I'm so active, in the group and following what you all are doing. I was like, oh, you want me to be on? Sure. I was like,
absolutely. We're watching you, Neva. And there's like 12,000 other people also watching you. So let's start with your personal life. Would you mind sharing, please, kind of, as I mentioned, you're a mom to two beautiful little ones. You have a husband who's busy. Can you just give us a background of all that you have in your personal side of life?
Okay, so on a personal side, so I'm married. I have two kids. They're 7 and, look at me now, I'm trying to remember. They're 7 and 3, right? Oh man, that keeps me so busy. So they're 7 and 3, and then I'm married. But what I was telling you when we were talking is my husband travels a lot. So that makes it hard because like I was telling him and he got upset. I'm like, when you leave, literally, I just like switched to like single mom. It's like, there's a huge deficit, when you're not here. Like, not that I'm saying, I know you leave to support us and things like that, but there's a huge deficit, when your husband isn't there. Even my kids act differently, if he's not here. Like, they know, even if, they'll say, to call him, but it's not the same when they know their daddy's coming home in the evening as opposed to when I'm telling them, oh, he's coming back next week. It's totally different. Or I'll know, or just coordinating, because with real estate, sometimes, you have appointments in the evening. So during that time, the daycare is closed. So luckily for me, the way I even do that is my neighbor is a teacher. So she gets home really early. So a lot of times she'll watch them for me in the evening. But yeah, it's a juggle. I'm like, I tell my husband, to every single mom out there, I don't know how they do it. Because every time he leaves, I'm like, oh, okay, I can do this.
Yep. And you just keep saying, I can. And, just what you mentioned with the support of other people. It takes a tribe, right?
Yeah.
It takes a community. Absolutely.
Definitely.
So why don't you tell us your average day, Neva? Because as I mentioned, we'll get into that in a moment about how you do weekly videos and now even more than once a week. But what's the average day for you? What's it look like?
What is an average day for me? Well, I try to do, like, especially my team lead, he's on us, that we have to do lead generation every day. So that really helps me a lot to go ahead and just schedule that. So I try to do that in the morning. So for me, I have to get the kids off to school, and then I do lead generation for about 4 or 5 hours. So
and what does that look like?
Because my niche is I do pre-foreclosures. So usually this is what my kind of like lead generation looks like. So Sunday nights, usually when my kids finally go to sleep, that's when I go and I download, because basically I get a new list every week. So I go in, I download that list Sunday night. Usually this is like 10 p.m. I go in, I download that list, I go through it to analyze, how many I have and things like that. And then Monday to Friday, probably from about 9 to 1, that's when I either do direct mail, or some of them, if they're close by, I print out the letter and I drop it, in their mailbox, or I slide it on the door. Some of them I had the phone number, I'll call. So that's basically what my lead generation looks like. Monday to Friday, 9 to 1, and then Sunday night downloading and getting that new list. And then appointments. For me, most agents are going to say they have appointments in the evening, but for me, because I do pre-foreclosures, sometimes my appointments are in the middle of the day, but I don't mind because that's when my kids are in school.
Right.
So, pre-foreclosures, they, a lot of times they're out of work, so they can do, a 2 o'clock appointment or 3 o'clock appointment because they don't have a job. So that kind of works for me, but I know that most agents, probably start appointments maybe like 5 to 8 o'clock or something like that, because they have to wait for everyone to get off work. So for me, sometimes I try to get my appointments in, because then in the evening, especially if my husband isn't here, you know, I have to make dinner, I have to help the kids with their homework, you know. So yeah, it's a juggle.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I want to ask you there. So you have all these balls in the air, Neva, and for those out there, and there are many single moms who know your plight when your hubby's gone. So how do you keep positive? Because you always have that beautiful smile on your face. How do you keep that right mindset?
You know, I just do it day by day by day. Like literally, I do a calendar and schedule and things like that. But for me, I have to just focus like on, if I think too far ahead, I get overwhelmed. So for me, I have to like make a schedule, and then if it's Monday, I just focus on what I need to get done for Monday. If it's Tuesday, I just focus on what I need to get done for Tuesday. So I don't really, for me, I just get so overwhelmed quickly that I just try not to be like, because if I start thinking about it, I'll start thinking, oh no, my husband isn't going to be here that week, and then I have this appointment. Oh wait, you know, and then, you know, like even like today, I have 2 listings that are going to go live this weekend, and it's like going through a checklist of, you know, the lot box needs to be there, the sign needs to be there. One of them is a short sale. I had to go pick up the package, and like for short sales, the bank, you know, they ask for 10,000 things.
Right.
And then my seller, he couldn't fax it or email it, so I had to go pick it up. So, you know, just all that. So if I don't think about just what I need to get done today, then I'll be thinking, oh God, well, tomorrow I got, you know. So for me, at least, I'll just get overwhelmed. So I just literally just make like a to-do list for the day, and then I just focus on today, because usually I have a full day. Like, I don't usually look at my calendar and there's like 5 hours. I'm like, oh, I don't have anything to do.
Okay. So then you wake up, you get the kids off to school, and you at that point go ahead and kind of set your day and get yourself mentally set. Is that what it comes
to? So I get up like the crack of dawn. So for me, I have to get up before my kids get up. If I don't get up before my kids get up, my day gets chaotic. So I have to get up before they get up, get dressed. That's when I'll go through my calendar and really go over what I need to do. Okay. So I really need that time in the morning, because that's usually the only like peaceful time I get until they go to sleep at night. So like, you got to get up early and, you know, get some time for yourself, and then be busy all day. And then hopefully, you know, when they go to bed, then you get some time to yourself again. At least for me, that's how my day usually goes.
Gotcha. Well, I think the ladies would be very interested to hear your story of how you came to real estate. I know we were talking before we went live here on the recording that you came from corporate America. So I'd love to hear that transition from there to where you are today.
Okay. Well, mine is kind of like, I wish I had like this, you know, started from the bottom, then I got to the top thing, but my story is like, you know, just all over the place. So basically for me, I, you know, went to school, got my master's degree. I was an IT project manager. And then I started doing like real estate on the side, like real estate investing and things like that on the side. And literally what happened with me is, you know, I had a baby, my older daughter, and I went back to work when she was 9 weeks, and I got laid off the first week that I went back. Like I literally went to work, and like the Tuesday, they were like, oh, your last day is going to be Friday. And I was like, what? I just got back. Like, so, yeah. So, oh, my phone was great. So what happened then, a couple things happened that, I guess, a couple things that happened. Okay. So I got laid off. And then when I got laid off, I closed on this real estate investment deal, and I made $40,000. So I had that. So that was like a key thing that happened during that time, because I was kind of like, you know, everybody talks about that. Oh, you need to have extra income in case you get laid off. But I literally, for me, I wasn't even thinking that I would get laid off, because I had just gotten like this awesome review, which is what was crazy. I had just delivered my project ahead of schedule under budget. So it was like, I wasn't even thinking anything that I would get laid off. But literally what happened was the government pulled the funding that paid for my spot on the project. So,
Gotcha.
I mean, because they even were saying, well, hey, will you stay until we kind of figure out, some funding? And I'm like, you want me to work? No, like, that's insane, right? So I had that. So I had that deal. And then I just kind of started thinking, like, I probably, if that didn't happen to me, I just kind of started thinking more serious about it, real estate, because I was like, man, like, what if I was not doing this on the side? Like, everybody's like, save up and blah, blah, blah. But the thing was, I was like sick during my pregnancy and stuff. So it was like finally time now for me to come back and rebuild my savings coming back, because I didn't get paid, when I was on maternity leave. That was all unpaid leave. And plus I had to take off like a month before I had her because I had a hernia. That was all unpaid. So it was like, I was literally like, had savings, but then spent it, like you're supposed to, they say, during that time. Now that I go back to work to build back my savings, I get laid off. So had I not closed on that deal, it would have been like, really additional stress. And then you just had a new baby.
So when did you get your license though, hon? Did you get your license?
And that was just real estate investor. I didn't even have my license. I got my license. I want to say I was doing real estate investing. So maybe like, I have to go back and look, because I probably had my license maybe like 4 or 5 years or something like that, because I got my license because people used to always approach me thinking I had my license. And I'd be like, oh no, I'm not an agent. I just do like investing stuff. And so I used to always like, give